Well, welcome to the 700 Club. It's the laptop scandal that won't go away. New information has emerged about Hunter Biden's overseas business activities and our president's involvement.
Even worse, allegations that the FBI and the Justice Department are involved in a cover-up, burying evidence against Hunter Biden and calling it disinformation. Dale Hurd brings us the details.
FBI Director Christopher Wray faced tough questions about the FBI's conduct on both the 2020 election and Hunter Biden laptop investigation, as more questions emerged that could further implicate the president in his son's business dealings. Uncovered records show that Joe Biden met with at least 14 of Hunter Biden's international business associates during his time as vice president, according to Fox News, contradicting his claims that it never happened.
Have you ever spoken to your son about his overseas business dealings?
I've never spoken to my son about his overseas business dealings.
A voicemail from Hunter Biden's laptop has also been leaked that contains the voice of Joe Biden apparently reassuring Hunter over a news story about the scandal.
Hey, pals, Dad, it's 8:15. I thought the article, at least the thing online, this is going to be printed tomorrow in the Times, was good. I think you're clear.
As disturbing as this new evidence against the Biden family are new claims that the FBI and Justice Department tried to cover it up. In a letter from Senator Charles Grassley to the FBI and Justice Department, the ranking member of the Senate Judiciary Committee says numerous highly credible whistleblowers accuse them of burying verified and verifiable evidence against Hunter Biden by labeling it disinformation.
Information that was pretty sound for investigating Hunter Biden, but they wanted to characterize it as disinformation, and they shut that investigation down.
When senators asked about the Hunter Biden case during Thursday's hearing, Director Wray said he could not answer.
And you possess the laptop, right?
Again, I can't discuss that in an ongoing investigation.
Senator Ted Cruz accused the FBI and Justice Department of thoroughly crossing the line from seeking justice to politics.
I hear regularly from FBI agents and from professionals at the Department of Justice who are dismayed that our law enforcement has been weaponized and politicized rather than remaining apolitical as it has been for the history of our country.
Quinn Hillier at the Washington Examiner agrees.
A lot of people who are very much Democrats have become embedded in the FBI and have been using it to go after conservatives and Republicans.
Former U.S. Attorney Brett Tolman told us the lack of prosecutorial action against the Biden family in a case that should be a slam dunk speaks volumes.
The only explanation you can have is political, maneuvering that's going on. This would be, the easiest case you ever presented to a grand jury. It would also be one where you have so much leverage given the drugs and the sex trafficking and allegations and others that you could put a lot of leverage on individuals to expose the whole conspiracy.
More answers could come next year if the GOP wins control of Congress as top Republicans vow to get to the bottom of the allegations. Dale Hurd, CBN News.
Well, this is a sad day in American history as these things keep coming out and coming out that are exposing a lot of issues that we as Americans absolutely need to address. The major one is, what was the foreign influence on Hunter Biden, and did he trade on his father's position as vice president in order to get business deals? There was this famous trip to China. Apparently, the allegation is the Chinese banking system lent him around $1 billion to start some kind of real estate investment company. These are incredible allegations, and you look at it, how in the world can that not be some kind of political influence? And then we've all heard about the Ukrainian gas company, all of those things. But here's the bigger issue, even if I can put it that way, an even bigger issue than that one is, what is the FBI doing? Are they being the Praetorian Guard and somehow thinking, well, we can take down a president or we can put in a president? In taking down a president, they took the Steele dossier, which they should have known was bogus, was disinformation, and they tried to trap a sitting president in an obstruction of justice claim. That was the whole game they were playing for 2 years. It consumed the nation. It consumed the administration. Everyone who was involved in the White House for that period of time had to hire their own private attorneys and monitor everything they did to make sure that they weren't going to be caught up in that trap. It was a horrible incident, and they should have looked at the Steele dossier for what it was, intentional disinformation by a political opponent. Here, Hunter Biden's, they're saying, well, that's disinformation. They're claiming there's nothing on it. This is all fake news. And it turns out, well, there really is something here. It really is accurate. It really was his laptop. And it really does have some information that all Americans should take a very hard look at. I hope we get to the bottom of it, but at the end of the day, I think everyone's looking at the FBI and saying, you've lost all credibility. If you're going to get involved in politics, well, maybe you should register as a political action committee. In other news, California is pushing legislation for states to become sanctuaries for children who want to get transgender medical treatment, even without their parents' permission. Ephraim Graham has that story from the CBN Newsroom. Ephraim?
Gordon, the bill would make California a legal destination for children who want to make their sex changes permanent, and other states are considering similar measures. Heather Sells brings us the story.
California lawmakers could open a gateway for out-of-state children to receive hormones, puberty blockers, and even surgery if this legislation passes. The stated goal: protect kids from states like Texas that consider those procedures to be abuse. Critics counter this move would not only harm children, it would sever parents' rights.
Any child who comes here for those services, their parents would be almost powerless to stop them.
Jonathan Keller with the California Family Council says the bill would legally emancipate kids from other states.
It would remove the ability of parents to come and rescue their kids.
California State Senator Scott Wiener is the bill's sponsor.
Parents are being threatened with criminalization.
He says the bill is intended to provide a safe place for families who want hormones or surgery for their kids.
These parents who are just trying to do right by their kids and accepting their kids for who they are.
The state assembly's analysis, however, shows this legislation goes further. It provides that a California family court has temporary emergency jurisdiction if the child is present in this state and has been abandoned, or because the child has been unable to obtain gender-affirming health care.
I'm Ted Hudako from
During a hearing in Sacramento last month, parents stood in line in order to speak out against the bill. A 17-year-old who regrets getting puberty blockers and surgery testified that she felt pressure.
I was medically transitioned from ages 13 to 16.
And said professionals told her parents she could commit suicide unless they let her transition. Attorney Erin Friday calls the bill unconstitutional.
It makes California the refuge for all children who want to get access to any type of gender interventions. No questions asked.
Lawmakers in New York and Minnesota have introduced similar bills, and legislators in 16 other states plan to go the same route. The California effort does face a deadline. Lawmakers have until the end of August to make a decision on the bill. That's when their legislative session ends. Heather Sells, CBN News.
Turning now to eastern Kentucky, where rescue efforts are underway after historic floodwaters killed dozens of people. Now the state is dealing with dangerous heat and humidity in areas that still don't have power. CBN's Operation Blessing is on the scene, helping people recover from this major disaster. Brody Carter has that story.
At least 37 people killed and thousands displaced amid the destruction.
There's just total buildings gone, houses washed down the road.
No fatalities have been reported since Monday. However, Governor Andy Beshear fears that number is likely to rise in the coming days as he worries about another danger from the weather.
Biggest concern for today and tomorrow is the weather. It is very, very hot.
Many streets remain impassable. Dangerous heat threatens thousands, still without electricity or running water. The National Guard is flying helicopters to deliver water and vital supplies to remote Kentuckians. Community centers are acting as supply hubs and cooling centers as rising temps threaten the immense cleanup effort now underway. Brenda Kelly has lived in eastern Kentucky 53 years. She and her grandchildren watched as floodwaters rose, damaging most all of her possessions.
If we'd waited too much longer, we probably wouldn't have made it out.
Kentucky pastor Richard Holmes is asking for support and prayer, even after this story fades from news headlines.
This is 2 to 3 years of rebuilding structure and rebuilding a way of life. And it's too soon to know what the full impact is going to be, but we're talking about restructuring an entire cultural way of life.
CBN's Operation Blessing is on the ground, helping eastern Kentucky pick up the pieces.
They've helped us box up and get out what is salvageable, keepsakes that were so important to my mother and things that she had saved all of her life.
Operation Blessing is also packing thousands of meals and distributing Home Depot disaster relief kits.
Operation Blessing has really been a blessing to us. They have done so much to help us, and we couldn't have come this far without them.
Brody Carter, CBN News.
A blessing indeed, and the work will continue. Gordon?
And if you want to be a part of that continuing work, all you have to do is call us and say, I want to give to the Operation Blessing Disaster Relief Fund. Numbers on the screen, 1-800-700-7000. You can also write to us at CBN Center, Virginia Beach, Virginia, 23463. Just put Operation Blessing Disaster Relief Fund on the memo line of a check. You can designate your gift to disaster relief on cbn.com. Either way, do it now. Let's be a help to those wonderful people in Kentucky. They're devastated. Many have lost absolutely everything. We want to be there for them and be there in their time of need, and we're there in your name. So if you'd like to give, call us. 1-800-700-7000.